Courier joining us. A we've got a hell of a discussion for you. We truly do. I think obviously we thought that this primary was going to put some salve on some wounds, but you know, there's still a lot to discuss, and we're going to get into it. Let's go ahead and get it started.
Live and local talk from the mind behind the Overton Report. It's time for Palmetto Talk Live with your host, Corey Allen. Now, your host, Corey Allen.
All right, and that is me. So here we are, setting some things up. Anyway, so yeah, we all know how the primary turned out, and I'll tell you, there's been a lot more vitriol than I would have hoped coming out of that. But we will get into all those things. First, let me introduce our guest, Tyler Bessinger.
How are you, Corey?
Hey, man, how's it going?
I can't. Well, yes, I can complain.
I think you can.
And I plan to.
I think you plan to. That's right. And you know, I don't think many people could fault you for it.
They do. They will.
Oh, well, that's true. You know what? That's true, too. Can't complain. Yes, you can. People can't fault you for it. Yes, they can. And they will. And, of course, chairman of the Dorchester County Republican Party and longtime political activist, really, CJ Westfall. How's it going, bud?
Good to see you. Better late than never with the show today, Corey.
Well, of course, you know, I had planned to do a show earlier this morning. So a couple of things happened, and then I just decided, you know, this needs to be the show. I need to just focus all my energy on this.
Way to play it off.
One of the perks of running your own show.
It is. As long as it gets done. And that's the important thing. And we had planned this last week. We planned for the three of us to come here
for a very different conversation.
Well, right. I don't think so. I think it was always like, wasn't it always the thing? It's like
it was always up in the air. It was always up in the air.
We're gonna do this show. Whoever, you know, depending on who wins, yeah, there would be a different conversation depending on where we are. But here we, you know, again, here we are, and I don't know. I want to just open it up. I don't feel like explaining to people what took place. So, would one of you like to do that? Have the honors?
Sure, just like the speed run version.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Lindsay died on, I think it was July 12th. His sister Darlene was appointed the same day or the day after, one of the two. And Trump almost immediately endorsed her, and that put, you know, I think there were plenty of candidates in the race that were worthy of consideration. Mm-hmm. I think that there were probably deals made that arranged certain endorsements to land the way that they did. But I think that it's worth noting that, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, Darlene, she won a free and fair election." In my opinion, she won about as free and fair an election as Joe Biden did. Not saying that votes were cheated, mm-hmm. but the amount of money that poured into this state from out of state, from Democrat donors to prop her up is, if you don't call that election interference, I don't know what you could.
So, okay, I get that. Let me fill in some of the blanks because there was a little bit of editorializing there.
Yeah.
Basically, we had and that's fine. That's fair. That's what's going to happen today. And guys, if you're in the comments, I want you to comment on what you're hearing here. I want you to talk to us. I want you to tell us what you think, where you are, because this was a very contentious primary. The runoff was even more contentious. People were okay. So we saw the primary, and in the primary, it's interesting. We had more people turn out for the runoff than we had turn out for the June primary.
That's right.
Not even so. So the primary that Lindsey Graham ran in,
mm-hmm.
the primary that had the governor, the governor's race, the Burkhold didn't have an opponent, but the governor's race, the attorney general, the congressional races, the Senate race. We had more people turn up for this single runoff then turned out in the entire state, then turned out for the initial primary for Lindsey Graham. That is very interesting. It's almost unheard of, actually, right, CJ?
It is unheard of, and it shows, President Trump came in with his get out the vote machine. President Trump decided that he was going to come into town and put his thumb fiercely on the scales. If you look in comparison in the primary results, they match up almost identically with the runoff from the governor's race in 2018 when President Trump came to Lexington. John Warren, the conservative guy, was gaining steam, and then and then President Trump was supporting Henry. It worked out almost the same way. 52-48, 53-47. And it shows that President Trump still ideologically has a grip on, South Carolina Republicans. There's still 165,000 Republicans that voted for Congressman Norman, and Darlene's going to have to go out there and earn their votes before the general election this November. And I think that's probably what we're going to be here to talk about a little bit today.
I honestly don't know even that we can accept that premise.
Really?
I keep hearing them say it on the news and in the comments that South Carolina Republicans chose Darlene. Did they? We have open primaries. We have no idea of knowing how many Democrats rolled over and voted in this election. If they hadn't,
Independents. That's key.
To say in this state that Republican voters did anything in a primary is a guess at best, because we don't know that.
That's true. There is a couple things. We need to close the primaries, and our SCGOP chairman kind of fumbled that whole thing because everybody was the energy and passion was there this session to get it done. But
it was.
But what I will say is there was a very competitive Democrat primary almost for the first time, both statewide in the U.S. Senate and in some of the congressional. And so if you voted in the Democrat primary, you're ineligible to vote in any of these. Mm-hmm. So there was that going for us. I think Fox News probably had a bigger impact on it than maybe Democrat crossovers.
But let's be okay. I think that's potentially a valid point. But let's be real that there weren't a ton of.
Not every Democrat voted in the first congressional.
That's right, and there weren't a ton of people that were voting in the Democrat primary, right? First off, there were. I guess
there were, but not outside.
Think about the first congressional. Mac DeFord versus Nancy LaCour.
But that didn't help Ralph, though. I mean, obviously in the first congressional district, that was going to go hard towards Darlene anyway. We're talking in places like Horry County. I think that we would be remiss if we didn't at least acknowledge that there are crossovers, and they don't have to be Democrat.
And the population
crossovers.
Centers of like Greenville and Spartanburg too. They're
right.
I'm not denying that it happened. I'm just saying
Sure.
I don't think it was the biggest.
No, I'm not saying.
I agree.
It's probably 20% of the problem, but.
Yeah. I'd say the Fox News super PAC was probably the biggest.
Sure. The Democrat money, the establishment support for sure played a bigger part, but it's all part of the same nasty pie.
But either way, so here we are. Darlene has won the primary. Darlene Graham, for one reason or another, is the nominee on the ballot against Annie Andrews, against Casey Whitener, and against Mark something in the Constitution Party. So there are 4 people on this ballot. Now, here's the thing that I've noticed. So, I mean, it was no secret that I supported Ralph Norman mostly, and I didn't support Ralph Norman in the governor's race.
Same.
Okay,
Neither did I.
Right. So, that wasn't my thing, and I know that we've got, of course, the chair of the Dorchester County Republican Party, and it is. And I commend you for this, remaining neutral in primaries. It's very important that you do that.
More parties should do that. More local Republican parties should do that.
They are supposed to, and they haven't. And I think that's despicable. It's something that anybody who knows me knows how I feel about that. So I find that I commend you for that, CJ. However, I am not tied by any of those issues. I didn't support Ralph in the governor's race. I did support him here because, and this is really the long and short of it, because I don't know who Darlene is. I don't know anything about her for a couple of reasons. One of those reasons is she has never been in the public eye. And I will have people giving me arguments of, well, she was a private citizen. She doesn't need to be in the public eye. Okay, fair. However, she is running to be one of the 100 most powerful people on the planet of Earth in history. Okay, the United States Senate is the most powerful body,
On the
single
planet.
body of individuals on the planet in history. Okay, so that's kind of an issue for me. I didn't know her. Also, could never even get within like 3 degrees of speaking to her. Have tried. And I understand that I don't have, Sean Hannity's reach. I get that. He has a ton of money to put into radio stations and things like that to be on those radio stations. I don't. However, I still do have at least a little bit of a following, and the questions that I ask are always questions that are coming to me in my inbox, in text message, on my phone. I interview and discuss, and I'm never unfair or mean or rude to anybody who comes on for an interview, and I would never have done that to her. But
I typically find him far too lenient.
he yells. Actually, Tyler yells at me about that.
Oh, I remember when you had Nancy Mason, you were a little too lenient on her, and I gave it to you as well.
Well, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, there's the thing. I was like, but even that being the case, I can't get a senator, appointed sitting senator who's trying to earn the votes of people to speak to me.
And then the people who do, she scolds. Are you recording me with
Are
your
you
phone?
recording me? Yes.
And then they ask her about her. She talks about how her affordability is her big plan. Like, well, what are you gonna do? She said, "We'll figure it out when I get there." Oh, you're already there. You've been there for weeks. You don't nothing.
Somebody pointed out a good point in the comments. She didn't do Clay and Buck, and
No, because they endorsed Ralph Norman.
well, okay, maybe they did, but the only thing that I saw was that they said that her debate performance and when she was like, well, I don't know much about foreign policy when it came to Taiwan and China, they said that was a disqualifying answer, one of them. So she wouldn't even go on there. So this friendly media, and then we have
And their endorsement was
handlers?
after all of that, to be fair.
Okay,
It was
okay.
after all of that.
But and then handlers around her, you have them recorded on video while she's going to be asked what looks like,
And her hands
independent journalism. Hold on, let me finish this. Independent journalists with a phone trying to ask a question. You hear her, some of her staff in the background saying, "Okay, nothing too difficult here. Don't ask difficult questions here." So when those things happen, it makes me question her preparedness. But here's the thing. I think here's the deal. We have there are 3 positions here tonight, and I believe, and those positions are the position of the SCGOP, which is we will, we must, we shall always push to elect a Republican over anyone else, period. And that is usually the position that I hold. We have the position of I can't even be convinced. Like, there is nothing that you can do in these next 65 days or 66 days that's going to nothing short of miracles that's going to convince me. And then we have kind of the middle position of show me, talk to me, answer the questions, show me who you really are on like a real personal level. Like, we want to know you. And I think that my biggest issue at this point is when I made that observation that is the reality here. There is a massive minority of people, an election changing amount of people in South Carolina who voted for Ralph Norman or didn't vote in the primary runoff for either candidate, who want to be convinced because they don't know who she is. And she's unwilling to do anything off the cuff, do anything on the fly, speak to anyone who isn't vetted by a crew of people around her, or at least that's what it seems like right now. Mm-hmm. I think that's where we are, and when I posted this, I think you guys saw this. I posted something to that effect yesterday, and
Did you get knifed for it?
the attacks were almost as bad as any leftist attacks
Yep.
that I've ever felt. CJ, you're chairman of the Republican Party in Dorchester County. Dorchester went like 66% for Darlene. But I think that you've seen some of the vitriol.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm going to open it up to you.
Yeah. I think that I want to talk to the people who voted for Ralph Norman, and I think we'll have some good, healthy disagreement here today. And I think kind of what my role in this whole thing is to say, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, I'm not allowed to endorse anybody, but the election's over, and I'm proud to say that's who I voted for. And now that we're in this position, I think it's worth considering what are the ramifications both down ballot, and I want to talk to you guys about that with her as a nominee, but then also in the United States Senate, right? So there's only 100 votes. To have a slim majority for these final 2 years in the United States Senate is the difference between keeping the government open and passing a budget and not passing a budget. It's the difference between getting things passed, like the big, beautiful bill, through the budget reconciliation process and not. Because ultimately, Senate Republicans have shown themselves completely unwilling to break the filibuster, which is a fairly new, it's not like a constitutional thing. It's not something the founders cared about. So they've shown an unwillingness to pass President Trump's agenda with 51 votes. What we are seeing is once a quarter or once every other year, you're seeing the budget reconciliation process where if it's something having to do with funding or taxes, we'll get some tiny piece of President Trump's agenda, which I want President Trump's full agenda. I voted for the full MAGA agenda.
When you say his full agenda, you mean like the agenda that he ran on.
The agenda that he ran on. And so
2024 agenda.
So what I'm trying to say is I'm looking at a black and white picture where I have a Republican who's going to caucus and vote with leadership that I'm going to agree with 60% of the time. Or I'm going to have the most vile, the most toxic, far-left Democrat who, in 2022, we got our MUSC gender-affirming care clinic shut down once we started making ads for Nancy Mace, and she led the effort, and the Freedom Caucus pushed it in the House, and they were shut down. And you led a lot of that as well, Corey and Tyler. And so my thing is, we can feel two things can be true at once. We can feel completely betrayed. We can feel like there was election interference with Fox News who didn't give equal coverage, and that should be something that we discuss here today. But then also we got to think about the Senate, and again, Lindsey Graham wasn't always my favorite either. However, he was a reliable vote for President Trump's agenda. We're living in an imperfect world. And so, if you are a Ralph Norman supporter, I think you should continue to encourage the Darlene camp to they should have to earn your vote. No one's entitled to your vote. So I agree with what you're saying. But that's why I'm here today, to try to have the conversation with you guys and say, you know what? There's bigger things at stake right now. She's not perfect. And I agree that there was a lot of different factors of how she won the Republican primary. I can agree with all of that, but I can also say, you know what? I agree with her maybe 60% of the time. I agree with Annie Andrews on maybe one issue, which is probably the war.
So that being the case, Tyler, I want to bring it to you. I mean, you were listening to what CJ just said, and I know that, you are an independent, you are a conservative, you are pretty hard right on some issues. And
I've been a Trumper since 2015.
Well, that's right. And we were both there on January 6th, and we had Lindsey Graham say that people like me and you should have been shot in the head, and that's been published, and those things are, that does bring a bit of a personal edge into it. I think that, but what really concerns me and has concerned me is the complete isolation and circling of the wagons by her. I say handlers, her staff, Lindsey's former staff, Lindsey's former consultants, Lindsey's people,
members of the legislature.
But the circling of the wagons to the extent of she doesn't have to answer questions.
No, she's being treated like royalty.
And there are people right now that are pretty well and convinced that she won't even do a debate with Annie Andrews.
I don't think she will. If she does,
I think she should. Yeah, I don't think she should.
You don't think she should?
And see, this is the.
If she doesn't, she's cooked.
Is she cooked?
So. I will help cook her if she doesn't at least do a debate. Yes, she should be absolutely cooked.
How does that help her?
Because she
or
should,
the Republican,
she should. If she wants the people of South Carolina to vote for her, and they don't know anything about her, and she's not comfortable arguing her cases against one of the most lunatic leftists on the ballot, she's not qualified. So if she can't stand behind a podium and say, "Don't chop off little boys' wee-wees," close the border, kick out the illegals, it's a freaking layup.
I'm looking at it as I don't want to lose that vote. I want to make sure we keep the Senate majority.
But it's not losing a vote that you're not entitled to is my thing.
No, and I agree. And I just said all that.
I think Republicans are making a really bad, like you talked about the ramifications. I think the misconception that Republicans are under is Republicans want this like arm's length loyalty with the people of South Carolina. They want everybody in South Carolina to assume you're a Republican. Most of us are conservative. Being a Republican means you're a member of this paid closed club. And this paid closed club comes in every few years and convinces you to vote for their members. Yeah. You talk about the ramifications if we elect a Democrat. What is the difference? I couldn't tell you between electing Lindsey Graham and electing
I'm with
a
you.
Democrat.
I'm with
you. And Darlene Graham is a copy and paste of Lindsey. At least that's what we're being told.
Well, that's what we are being told to an extent, CJ. Let him. No,
you're good.
Oh, of course. No. We're having a discussion.
Well, I just want to say it. Is none of this is directed at CJ.
Of course,
obviously.
I don't feel that way at all.
I just don't want the viewers to think that.
I don't feel that way at all. And you should because what I'm saying I know is going to be you're representing probably a lot of angry people listening to what I'm saying. Yeah. And I was super mad on Tuesday night too. I believe everything what you're saying. I believe that we've got a uniparty, and people say, "Oh, there's so much division and polarization." It's like on the issues, the biggest issues, like entitlement reform, Republicans, Democrats agree. We're not going to touch it. On debt and deficits, Republicans and Democrats agree. We're just going to keep blowing out spending, wars, etc. So what I'm trying to say is there are wins on the table that President Trump can get, and I would much rather have a reliable Republican vote for President Trump and the rest of what he wants to accomplish in his agenda than Annie. That doesn't. It's a two things can be true at once thing. It's like, yes, she should go and debate, but is that really what we want to see? Is that going to help her win? Is that going to help us keep the Senate? I don't know.
Before you respond, Tyler, I do want to say this. So when it comes to like electoral politics, and anybody that's listened to me for any amount of time knows that that I say this in so many ways very often. Electoral politics and governing politics are two completely different things. So electoral politics is very much so about math. Now, I think that in our head, in your head, and in the head, in your head, Tyler, and in the head of many people out there, we're thinking like, listen, this lady has put herself up there and out there as the best choice for Senate.
Right.
We want to see her debate. We want to see her hold her own because we saw a massive falter from her.
Well, because the media and the Democrats are not going to hold back on her. There's not going to be.
Well, sure.
Are you recording me in D.C.? That's not going to fly.
That's true. And then, but however, on the side of the electoral politic of it, it comes down to mathematically, and this is just what they're thinking, and it makes sense in a very cold Machiavellian way. How many votes could she potentially gain from doing well versus how many votes could she potentially lose from another blunder?
Well, like think about if we lose Clarence Thomas, like that seems to be the only thing that Republicans in the Senate are willing to nuke the filibuster on, and it's gonna be close. I mean, I see a blue wave coming. What I see coming is with her being the nominee, and I'll come a little bit more your way. With her being the nominee, Democrats smell blood and water. She's going to become either the
They've
top.
said as much, yeah.
She's either going to become the top or the top three most top fundraised for candidates this cycle. Talking about Dr. Annie.
Yeah.
And they're going to spend the majority of that money on the coast. They're not going to spend it to try to convince people in Greenville and Spartanburg.
No, not at all.
They're going to spend it on the coast. Nancy LaCour already has 4 times as much money as Jenny Costa Honeycutt does.
Mm-hmm. And that money will go towards helping Annie as well.
And you know what else that does? That money is spent in places like Charleston where the county council literally could go from being Republican controlled this cycle to Democrat controlled this cycle. So we could literally lose that. We could literally lose all these state legislative seats. Democrats were smart; they recruited candidates. We could lose Johnny Garman along the coast. We could lose James Teeple.
Yep.
If Tommy
all
Hart,
that down ballot. Yep.
That's
All the
that's
down
the
ballot.
biggest problem I think with this Darlene thing is, and I don't think they've considered that is, especially the Darlene people, like the surrogates online,
Many of them
who are saying things like, "Oh, you lost, go home, shut up." Like, okay,
Yes.
we'll go home,
And we're gonna
don't forget you're gonna need us in 2 months.
Well, that's right. And you know what? We're going to talk about that, guys, when we come back from this break. Listen, if you like discussions like this, if you like the interviews that we do, the elected officials we have on, the editors of various independent media outlets, the chairman of various Republican parties, we invite, of course, the Democrat chairs and the Democrat elected officials and candidates on all the time. If you like these discussions, support our sponsors. Whatever you need to do. If you're looking for a home to buy, if you want to become a real estate agent, if you're looking for a place to go and get a cigar, if you're looking for a place to go out to eat, if you're looking for a financial advisor, if you want to turn your small like hummingbird egg into a huge goose egg for the future of you and your family, support our sponsors. They believe in what we believe in, and they will do everything they can to ensure that they make your life better. Vote with your dollars. Here we go. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. If you're planning a date night, don't settle for ordinary. Take it to another level at the Melting Pot. This is where dinner becomes interactive, where you dip into rich cheese fondues, cook your own steak and seafood right at the table, and finish with warm chocolate fondue and sweet dippers. Their signature 4-course experience takes you from savory to sweet in one unforgettable night. Perfect for couples, celebrations, or just reconnecting with old friends. The Melting Pot. Set the mood, slow things down, enjoy the moment. Find the Melting Pot at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard West in Columbia and make your next night out one worth remembering. The Cigar Militia is the place to be. Owned by South Carolina State Representative Jay Kilmartin, this isn't just a business, it's a passion. And you can feel that the second you walk through the door. Top-tier cigars, a welcoming atmosphere, even private lockers so your collection stays exactly how you like it. They even host regular gatherings that bring people together beyond just cigars. If you're looking for a place that values quality, conversation, and community, this is it. Look no further. The Cigar Militia in Columbia, SC. Light up something better.
Looking for a realtor who gets it done and actually answers her phone? Meet Christy Gore with Realty One Group Coastal. Christy is a Tri-County top producer. She works hard, keeps you informed, and knows the Charleston Tri-County markets inside and out. From Dorchester to Berkeley and everywhere in between, she's helping you buy and sell residential homes with confidence. When other agents let calls go to voicemail, Christy's picking up and already finding your next home. So don't wait. Call 843-998-8250 or go online to christiescoastalhomes.com, where local experience meets real results.
Adam Curran here with Curran Financial Partners. We are proud to sponsor Corey Allen and Palmetto Talk Live. I'm a God-fearing, flag-waving conservative financial advisor, and my firm does it all, y'all. We can help you with your investments, we could do your taxes for you, and we can put together your estate planning documents for you. Reach out to my office by visiting our website. Go to retirey'all.com. Again, retirey'all.com, and get my book in the mail. We literally wrote the first and only book ever penned specifically about retiring in the great state of South Carolina. Retire Y'all, your guide to retiring in the state of South Carolina. Go to retirey'all.com to get a free copy of my book and come kick my company's tires. It might have a profound impact on you and your family's finances.
All right, guys, here we are. We're back. You know what? I completely forgot to do this, but I love it. I love it so much. We'll just... All right, guys, I want to remind you about the realestateschoolofsc.com. Realestateschoolofsc.com. They have 2 locations in South Carolina, 2 physical locations. You can go in Lexington County. You can go right here in Charleston County, and you can get your real estate license. You can get your real estate brokerage license, and you can also get your property management license, or do your continuing ed right there in those 2 in-person locations. The other thing that they do, also, we'll get into something in just a moment that is just like the chef's kiss on realestateschoolofsc.com. But the other thing that you can do is you can do online classes, go at your own pace. So I personally, I like when I'm taking courses, and I do that pretty often. I do like to do go at your own pace, because I generally will read through a book in like a third of the time it takes some others, right? So I like to do go at your own pace. You can do that at realestateschoolofsc.com. The other thing that, and this is the most beautiful part, you can do classes virtually while they're holding their in-person classes. You can be in the comfort of your own home, in your pajamas, on your couch, and joining in while they're holding in-person classes at either of those 2 locations. You can take part in the discussions that they're having. You can ask questions live of the professor. That is amazing. And also, I gotta tell you, this is some kind of breaking news. They are they wrote the book on real estate in South Carolina, by the way. They are now rewriting the book, because as well as anybody, that the real estate laws change all the time, and they are literally in the process of rewriting the book right now. So go there if you want to be a property manager, if you want to be a real estate agent, if you are a real estate agent and need to do your continuing ed, if you want to be a broker. realestateschoolofsc.com. realestateschoolofsc.com is the place to go. Now, we are back with C.J. Westfall, chairman of the Dorchester County Republican Party, and Tyler Bessinger, editor-in-chief of the Carolina Courier. If you haven't read, if you haven't checked them out, you really should. The carolinacourier.substack.com, or just search the Carolina Courier on Facebook. It's all over the place. You're all over the place, man.
Apparently we're a liberal rag. Now.
Well, people over the past couple of days have been calling me a liberal and a leftist and crazy stuff. But before the break, we were talking about, of course, the primary is over, and we have an election coming up. We have Annie Andrews, who literally wants to mutilate your children, who was literally at MUSC, and I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but MUSC, they had come out and said, we're not mutilating children. We're not doing trans surgeries. And then a bunch of FOIAs were made by Jordan Pace, for example, the chairman of the South Carolina Freedom Caucus, a friend of the show, various elected officials. And they were saying, we're going to take your money if you're doing this. And MUSC said, okay, we're going to stop doing that thing we pretended like we weren't doing. Right? And lo and behold, you go back, and Annie Andrews, guys, this is
she's in those articles.
Well, she's in those articles, and she's all over Twitter and X, and I don't know if she's deleted these things now, but we have them all, which is interesting. But do you know that she was actually one of the pediatricians in charge of that?
I did not know that.
At MUSC?
Oh, yeah. She had the guy, I almost got fired from my job over this, because this guy, you remember the Michael O'Brien guy on Twitter?
Yes.
So he was one of the doctors that was working in the gender affirming care area, and I think you and I both were.
That's right. You were hammering him.
And then they were like trying to get me fired from my job, and we were just making the nastiest ads at the time for Nancy. And Yeah, it was just unbelievable. So she was absolutely involved in all of that, 100%.
And-
she's trying to move to the center too, by the way, like what we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Well, that's true.
Today she said Medicare for all is not going to work. That's in the past,
Decades-old policy,
And then
yeah.
yesterday she puts out a new ad, and she's like, "I want to work with Republicans to cut taxes and keep communities safe."
with that.
So she's doing exactly what we were talking about that Ashley Painter doesn't know how to do.
Yeah.
Which is move to the center for a general election,
Pretend.
which makes Annie more dangerous.
Annie is definitely more dangerous. And here's the deal. So South Carolina, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can't sue the doctor at a hospital. You can only sue the hospital, right? The doctor doesn't get any marks on their record. So a lot of transing doctors, a lot of terrible doctors, they move en masse to South Carolina because they have an extra layer of protection. Annie, but what does end up happening is when some things go wrong, they whatever hospital system that they're working at, they tend to be told and forced to resign quietly. And interestingly, few years back during this MUSC thing, and we are still digging into this, but Annie Andrews resigned quietly from the pediatrician ward or area where she was working. Moved, of course, to Washington, D.C. to be an advocate for transing your children. And
Taking your guns.
taking your guns, but
That's always been her
her
big
job
thing, too.
her job was and remains transing your children as a pediatrician. This is the bad thing here. Okay, I really want to get into before we go in and talk about Annie Andrews because I think that it's very, very important for people to understand who this woman is and how dangerous she truly is because of her likability, because she's a blonde white woman with flowery language and a PhD that they hand out like candy these days anyway. I mean, at Harvard, they're in the English programs, they're teaching remedial grammar. So let's not get in a tizzy about doctorates, shall we? But we need, before we do that, which is very important, we do need to talk about the fact that Darlene's supporters, many people who support Darlene, are acting in bad faith. Many people who voted for Ralph Norman and are abjectly refusing to get on board with Darlene, many of them are also acting in bad faith, but there is a huge majority that are willing, right, to listen, but they want to be convinced. I am one of those people. I desperately want to find the reason to vote for Darlene. I desperately want to talk to her.
Let's get back into what we're gonna say.
Did you just call me bad faith?
No, not you.
no,
That's
no,
what I'm
no.
saying. There are people who
Kidding.
will never.
There are bad faith, and you know what else I've noticed too is there is a concerted effort, which I think looks like a paid effort, to convince people to vote third party in this, and it's in the dissident Facebook groups, right? Like there's the Take Back Our SCGOP group. There's these fake accounts that have popped up and are like, I'm voting Annie Andrews, I'm super mad at this, or I'm voting Libertarian, and I think you guys are coming from a good faith where you want to be convinced, you wanted to earn your vote. I understand that. However, I think that there's a truly bad faith effort to try to convince disaffected Republicans to vote third party or vote Democrat. I think that's AstroTurf. I don't think
there's a single actual
Really?
Republican or conservative that is going to vote for Annie Andrews. I would never vote for Annie Andrews. I'm as convinced not to vote for Annie Andrews as I am Darlene Graham.
Yeah.
But we can skip that line. Not voting.
That's what the issue is,
There
right?
are people. There was somebody today. He was a young Republican who I know, and he's an officer on the Young Republicans. I'm not going to say his name, but he said, "I will be voting.
shouldn't.
I will be voting Annie Andrews." I texted him. I said, "You can be removed from your position for saying that."
That's crazy.
And so he took it down. So I think that there are people who believe that. I think that it's not zero, and I think that there is an astroturfed. I mean, if you're looking at Annie Andrews, you're seeing how nasty this primary was. It's super close. I mean, early voting is mid-October, so.
Well, you're also the thing is, if you're Annie Andrews, you're also seeing the way that Darlene voters are treating Ralph voters and Ralph supporters.
I got in trouble for a tweet yesterday where I pointed out somebody said "suck it up," Ralph Norman supporters. Somebody said, "Well, Ralph, there's a open Spartanburgs," and I got in trouble.
I wrote about that one. Timmons, that was Timmons.
Yeah, and behind the scenes, so I had to kind of eat some crow on that because I don't get to say everything I want to say like you guys get to. But what I will say is the good faith argument is. And I think that Russell Fry did the best job of it. Did you guys see Russell Fry's post?
I did.
I mean, he's making the best attempt. I think my better attempt is having the 50-plus votes. Clarence Thomas is what, 80 years old, 82 years old. Yeah. When are we going to get another Republican president? I definitely don't think in 2028 we get another Republican president.
Unless we work very hard and stop telling people you lost the primary, you need to go away.
And to be clear, I think Russell's demeanor thus far has been to position himself to be her successor, not because he's
I agree.
Yeah, I'd rather have
some super nice guy. I think,
but that's of course
posturing.
Well, I think
that's Tyler and me.
That's your speculation.
Speculating.
I think I know him a little bit. I don't know.
He's
him
a
that
good
well.
man.
I think that's his heart, but maybe it might be cynical, but I don't think that's not how I take it. But here it is right here, Tyler. It's like, what does the next 2.5 years look like with President Trump losing the Senate and the House? We lose the Senate. We probably have lost the Senate till 2032 if we lose this seat, right? And so it's like if we vote Libertarian, the Libertarian gets 3 to 5%, starts polling that way, even more money floods down here, more money floods down ballot. Charleston goes blue, remember what we're talking. Well, remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about. Do you guys remember when Tecklenburg had the signs up, the mask signs?
Yeah,
they came to my house and gave me a ticket.
And I also remember watching a video of Darlene.
Yeah.
Sorry, I need to turn your monitors down. I also remember watching a video of Darlene Graham with a mask on her face talking about how she wants to implement diversity, equity, and inclusion and be a leader of that in our state of South Carolina while she was a bureaucrat. So if we want to talk about masking...
Two things can be true. Two things...
And those two things are what?
True. The two things that could be true, one says is she's an imperfect candidate that we probably can admit we agree with at least 60% of the time.
I don't know.
Versus Annie's 10.
That.
But hold on, the Democrats are. You remember when they destroyed downtown King Street? We had to board up our businesses in Somerville. The drag shows. That's who the Democrats are. They're the higher taxes folks.
Her brother was in office when all that happened, and him being there did nothing to change that.
I know, but what I'm saying is giving her...
compare her to her. Like,
We can because that's what we've been told to do.
Well, no, I don't think
even by Big Daddy.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't. She has literally made it a point at every opportunity
to mention him.
No, to say that she is not her brother, and I think that it would be.
Well, we know that she's got a vagina.
No, look, you understand what I'm saying.
No, I don't, because every time she's been given a chance
to say that she
differentiate herself, she closes the sentence with "my brother, my brother, my brother, my brother."
Okay, well that's that's valid to an extent, but she does say I can say my friend, my brother, my sister,
but not to everything.
That. But she has made it a point to differentiate herself in the sense of saying, I am not like him. I will focus on domestic issues as opposed to. But that brings me to this point is, well, where was she on the tearing down of the Calhoun? Where was she? Not
there.
I'm not asking.
Yeah.
No, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I asked it incorrectly. Not where was she publicly. Where was she in her heart and in her mind? Where was she on that position? What did she think? We can't know because she wasn't in public, right? We can't know. The only things that we can know about her are trusting what she says. But then we have and guys, these are questions that it's not just questions from me. It's issues that people have whose vote you need. If you want Darlene Graham to win, you need these questions answered, and you need the good faith effort from her. It is up to her to ask for the vote and to show who she is in order to get that vote. from many of these people. So if she's unwilling to speak on those things, if when somebody is coming up and asking her just a random question in the middle of a restaurant at an event where she's doing a meet and greet, and you hear in the background somebody say, "Nothing too difficult now, okay? Nothing. Don't ask anything too difficult." Like those things, and then are you recording me while you're asking me questions? I feel uncomfortable with that. Like those things are not.
You go be on C-SPAN, girl.
Those aren't okay, right? Like that she like.
But can we hold two thoughts at the same time?
We can.
That's my whole point today.
We
is
sure
like
can.
It's two things can be true at once thing. It's like we're gonna have to have another budget reconciliation bill package. We're gonna have to keep the government open. And some of President Trump's biggest wins, such as, for example, sealing the border. Yeah, she's a Democrat troll from Spartanburg.
No. But this is an interesting.
Okay, but
thing,
here,
yeah,
let me finish this. So, like, there's been a lot of disappointments from the administration, but some of the big wins have been sealing the border, stopping mass migration. Someone like Annie Andrews is not going to fund ICE. She calls ICE fascist thugs, right? These are the people that stop terrorists coming into our country. There's probably northern of 10 to 15 million illegal immigrants in our country. And we just had the last 3 months, ever since Bovino was fired and Wayne Mullen took over Homeland Security, we've had the 3 months of the largest deportation numbers that we've had. Is that going to? Are we going to continue funding ICE at the same levels if we lose the Senate majority? I think I can have the thought in my head. The two things can be true at once. Of yes, I don't know all of these things about her. I have concerns with her about debate. I have concerns with her as a candidate. But I also want to keep that Senate majority so we can stop mass migration with radical open border liberals or socialists like Annie Andrews. If she gets in, she's going to lead the effort to defund ICE.
I don't think the 2 years that Trump has left to ensure her tenure. She's got 6 years. He's got 2.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any guarantee that, number one, she's going to stick to the plan for the 2 years that he's got left. And then after he's gone, she'll do whatever the hell she wants to.
I think she'll definitely have to be 1,000% loyal. He came down.
Like the
he
Supreme
poured the
Court?
money in. He will have to be 100% loyal. Yeah. What are you referencing?
The Supreme Court, his appointees have bucked him a few times.
Yeah, but he has no leverage over them anymore.
He's not going to have any leverage over her.
I think-
she was
I
going to be
think-
there for 4 years
I
after
think
he leaves office.
I think he will. I think he will
How?
Well, I think he will because she's not going to be able to get anything done if she bucks the president. I mean, you're inferring that she's going to buck the president. Look how Lindsey Graham was,
Bucked
in
him
this,
all the time.
in the first term, but the second term, it was like he was like his best
and the
political
second
ally.
term has been a disaster.
No, I don't disagree. Again, two things can be true at once,
Wait,
right?
now
Two things can be true at once.
Stay focused on the item.
There's been a lot of failures and a lot of successes. And the successes, Lindsay had a huge part of the Big Beautiful Bill, which is arguably his best accomplishment, cutting taxes and savings accounts and the Trump savings. There's a lot of meat on that
things
bone.
the wealthy can brag about, yes.
And again, I don't disagree the permanent cutting of the corporate tax cut, but we also funded ICE and Border Patrol at a level that has never seen it before. And that was the whole Trump phenomenon was get these illegal immigrants out of my country, and that's what I want. And with the Democrat majority in the Senate, we're not going to have that.
But I think, hold on, let me just pause it though. The issue isn't Trump's agenda, right? The issue is once she gets in office, Donald Trump is a lame duck after this.
Yeah.
After the midterms, if he loses majority in the House, especially, is a lame duck. Where do her loyalties go then?
Yeah.
Lindsay
to the donors.
Straight to the establishment.
Okay.
The donors, yeah.
So I think that's a legitimate concern. I don't think that's anything. But also, here's my biggest issue. There is that I don't think that's even a question that she would be able to answer. I don't think that
She doesn't know who those people are.
Okay.
Maybe. But I think she did, right? She answered the data center question the way that she answered it because OpenAI had given $500,000 to the Security of Strength PAC. So clearly someone coached
has
her
to support
with
that,
that answer. But what I'm trying to say is how productive is that? I think that what we all three agree on is she needs to earn our votes.
Right. That's what we agree
on.
Really my thing.
And so the position that I've come to is I'm not happy with how it went Tuesday. We all voted the same way. You and I were both at the Magnolia Room this week. I was up there in York County. We just had Ralph down in Dorchester County. Didn't go the way that I wanted, but I'm not going to take my ball and go home because I don't want to lose a Senate majority. I know that means, we're not able to keep the government open. We're not able to fund ICE. I think that the long-term implications of it, I don't want to be short-sighted because of the emotions I'm feeling in the short term.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
I know, but I take such issue with that.
With what?
Go ahead.
That language that keeps getting recycled, this take our ball and go home, or, oh, you don't want to play now. Like, the Republican Party...
Okay, but
hold on. The Republican Party plays by a very specific set of rules, where if you can't afford to come to our $200 and $300 dinners, you're not really a Republican. We don't really care what you have to say. If you're not coming to our county meetings and paying your dues and attending our balls and our galas, your opinion really doesn't mean shit to us until it's election time. And then I'm going to emotionally blackmail you to vote the way I want you to vote. And I've done that for you for 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm just over it.
Yeah.
I want the goods. That's why I say you talk about, he's doing this and he's doing that. I haven't been sold on this second term. I'm the asshole that used to drive around Charleston with the fuck Biden flag and, storming the Capitol. I was that guy.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay.
I'm with you on that.
You've had 10 years, put up or shut up. And the second term isn't going the way I want to. So
Yeah.
if Darlene is signing up to what's going on now, I'll pass.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And the war, there's no end in sight. I'm with you on the debt. Just hit $40 trillion. I'm not happy with the personnel. I'm not happy with the new DNI. I'm not happy with the CIA director. Tulsi left for a reason. I feel like, there's a lot of things that I feel critical on the administration on. But I think I just keep coming back to two things can be true at once. I'm either going to get 60% of what I want, or I'm going to get 0% of what I want. Maybe I agree with Annie Andrews on the
I guess
war.
that's what there's a lot of
flowery language.
There's a
That's
lot of,
it.
There's a lot of people weighing what is the percentage that I'm going to get. Pretty much 0% of what I want with either candidate.
Okay, but wait.
But I just gave you a couple things that you
Okay,
did.
that's fine. But listen. Here is the issue, and this is what I see happening online. This is what I see happening with pundits and interviews all over media. When we are talking about this election, this Senate election, every single time it goes back to Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And I think that we are missing the bigger picture here because, again, this is an election that outlives Donald Trump's presidency, the remainder of his presidency, by 200%.
Yep.
Okay? And most likely well beyond that because the incumbent senator is impossible to beat in South Carolina.
Especially at Graham.
So,
Yeah.
especially at Graham.
You have to literally die.
This is the thing. Okay, Donald Trump. We get it. Okay, fine. All of that completely irrelevant to how, why do we have so many, so y'all lost. Norman's a loser. Don't go away mad, just go away. We have people in conservative groups, Republican groups. We have people who are literally
In the state legislature.
well, in the state legislature, but hold on. We have people who are working for Darlene Graham, working for the South Carolina Republican Party, saying "suck it up." Mm-hmm. We have these people saying "suck it up," do what you're told, and then you have a lot of people who are not really going to take well to that, and then you have me saying, "Listen, she has a group of people that she needs to convince." And then Darlene needs to. Here's my thing. Darlene needs to work to convince a massive minority of SC conservative voters that she will be a decent choice. To tell those people to put their brains in the freezer and just do as they are told, or they're the part of the problem, is gross, dishonest, and antithetical to so-called Republican principles.
Yeah.
Don't get mad because people still have questions and concerns about a person that nobody knew 2 months ago, and who has shown complete ignorance of South Carolina and U.S. issues ever since. If asking a Senate candidate to prove themselves is too far beyond the pale for you, then I'm not really sure what to make of you. But let me say this.
Go ahead.
Hold on, and I will open it up to you. But here's the thing. And then even in that, you have three choices: support Darlene Graham, elect a Democrat, right? and it's like you don't understand. I'm not even talking about me here. Okay?
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a minute. I know. I get it. I'm talking about the voter. The voter that you're calling an idiot. The voter that you, political operatives, are telling that they're too stupid to figure it out, to shut up and get in line.
Who only plays this game this time of the year.
Well, that's right.
That's right.
But you're telling these people, suck it up, get in line, vote this way, or you're part of the problem. Like that, in what world would that convince you?
Yeah. And listen, I think, because I'm not going to defend that at all. And I think we talked about earlier in the show, I got in a little bit of trouble because I called some of those people out too and said, this isn't how you bring people together. This is not how you bring the Norman camp in, by insulting them, by trolling them. So I think we all agree on that. And I think I'm trying to give a different argument because, again, that's who I voted for. I was there in York County with you on Tuesday night.
That's right.
Supporting Ralph Norman, thanking him. So I'm there with you. Now, the argument that I'm trying to make is different, where there's still some meat on the bone. Even I can agree with you that those guys are acting like jerks. I can agree with you about the Trump second term of the presidency and all the failures. There's still some meat on the bone, and I would take the most rhino establishment Republican that I know nothing about, that's just going to follow leadership, over Andy Andrews any day, because it's a 6-year term. It's not like it's 2 years here where we can just get him next time, with Joe Cunningham, where he had 2 years. Okay, maybe some Republicans I know voted for Joe Cunningham over Katie Arrington because they couldn't stomach Katie Arrington.
Right.
And so that's a little bit more makes sense than this situation, because Joe Cunningham was kind of a moderate centrist, and Andy is a far leftist.
But you're not going to convince. But the point remains, you're not going to convince people to vote for her. Like it's going to be all about exciting the base.
Yeah.
You're not going to convince Ralph voters to support Darlene Graham, many of them, because the reason that they did not vote for Darlene Graham in the first place is because they have no idea who she is. If she's unwilling, if they are unwilling and her team is unwilling to allow her to go out there and put herself and her personality and who she is forward.
But Ralph Norman said he's going to support the nominee.
But that doesn't. But again. Many people voted for Ralph Norman because they did not know who Darlene was. And when people are telling them, screw you, then just go home.
And that's not okay. Not okay.
Okay, but the fact remains that is happening
that's their
at
attitude.
the highest level.
That's still their attitude.
At the highest
And it needs to
levels.
not be their attitude. They need to have an attitude of, but that's kind of how they are. They're like, okay, we've won it. You need to shut up and get on board. That's
a
their
lot
attitude.
of toothpaste to put back in the tube.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree with any of that at all.
I understand, but
I'm super frustrated with their attitude. They've been very cavalier. They need to be. And Alan Wilson did it way better. When he won.
He did so
the
well.
way that he welcomed everybody else in, and he's still doing it. Every time I've seen him since the runoff, he said, "Listen, if you didn't vote for me and I wasn't your second choice and I was your last choice, I'm going to work to earn your vote." He said that everywhere he's went.
Vote.
Have you heard him say that whole shtick?
Of course.
So many times.
And so, so it's like, I think that let's let this breathe and let this play out, and let's have this conversation again. And if it continues, let's keep calling it out.
Yeah, but here we are 72 hours later.
We're 72 hours later, but 2 weeks later, when she gets in general election mode, I think, maybe we start to see something different. Maybe we don't, but I'm hopeful that Alan Wilson and folks like that can come and say, hey, here's the way to bring the party together. I've been doing the same thing. You've got a tall task. Here's the way to go about it. Because I'm going to be running to the polls to vote for Alan Wilson. I mean, I'm very happy with what I've seen from him.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And that's kind of where we are. Tyler, I mean, we've had this conversation in private. You are far and away more unlikely to vote for Darlene than I am. I think that's fair to say.
To be clear, I will not vote for Darlene.
Okay, so we have.
That's just one vote. Don't crucify me.
Yeah, well, they're gonna.
At least you won't get kicked out of your spot like me.
Kicked out of my party that I don't belong to.
And here's the thing. So this is. I think that's why this conversation right here is so fun and important, is because we have somebody who. Undoubtedly votes Republican, has to vote Republican. We have somebody who is 100% going to vote Republican on every single other one, but this person, they just can't see themselves voting for. And then we have me, who is, I am, all I have done is let people know, hey, treating the primary voters of the other candidate, which, I mean, this was not a massive blowout. This wasn't a 70-30 thing.
Right.
Like, treating them as if they're trash.
It's a mistake.
Telling them that they're idiots and that they're losers and that they should go home. It's like, God forbid, because if they listen to you and go home,
Then we really lose.
what happens? So why?
You're way more dangerous than that one vote you're trying to discourage.
That's right.
Yep.
And so what we have here is and again, this is a Senate seat that has been up 3 times in the past 100 years.
That has changed hands 3 times.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is a Senate. Well, yeah, and it will, like, this is a long-term situation here. So why? I don't understand, Tyler. Why do you think? Well, not why do you think. Let me just ask you this: is there nothing? Not a single thing, nothing, not a conglomeration of things that could come together that would convince you not to leave that race blank.
Well, I mean, there's
Or that would convince you.
vote for Darlene.
Yes.
She would have to take some policy positions that I know she's not going to take,
Like what?
like calling for an end to the war. Like, maybe supporting the legalization of marijuana. That's not going to happen. Actually doing some mass deportations. That not talking about it the way we have been since the surrender in Minnesota.
Agree. I agree with all of those 3 things.
That's some. I need to know. I need something. The bitch is giving me nothing.
Give me
Nothing.
something.
Give me
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Give me something besides my brother was in the Air Force for 33 years, and I helped blind people get jobs. Okay, you were an untested bureaucrat for 30 years. Congratulations, that's worse than a politician.
And doubled the budget of her of that.
That's what pisses me off. They're like, she's not a politician. She's not. No, she's a bureaucrat. That's so much worse.
And bureaucrats are politicians, but also
Unelected.
Well, that's correct, but they are yes, they are inherently politicians. So I don't like that as well. Somebody said when I had spoken about her DEI, saying that she wanted to be a leader of DEI, and then that person had made a comment. I want to bring this up, that it was her job to include blind people in the workplace. Literally her job. Hold on, yeah, I know. Literally her job to make sure the disabled were included. Now, diversity,
that's
equity.
the Democrat activist.
The Democrat activist you're talking about, the
Yeah,
troll.
yeah.
That's fine. But
That was her whole job.
there's this thing called the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act. Okay, so diversity, equity, and inclusion as an ideology, as a governing ideology, is entirely separate from giving jobs to the blind or helping those who are disabled get jobs in positions they're able to do. Here's what the DEI thing would do. Oh, hello, sir. You have a wife and not a husband, and you're blind, but I also noticed that you're white. So there's nothing we can do for you. Oh, hello, Zer. You're a black lesbian. You're a black trans lesbian, and you have to wear glasses. Okay, well, you get access to all of our money. That is what DEI is, okay? It has nothing to do with helping the blind get jobs that they can do. I'm not legally allowed to drive a car unless I have corrective lenses on. Legally. Like, I will literally go to jail if I were to be caught driving without corrective lenses. So don't talk to me about the DEI in consideration with the ADA, okay? That's absolute nonsense. And when you're wearing a mask for theater under your nose,
I was going to say, when it's 2021 behind a mask and you're talking about diversity and equity, it means a little more than when you're talking about it in 1986 or 1997. Like,
so that's one of those things.
get out of my face. I've even heard
I'm
them
not
say,
hearing
"Oh,
that.
she said diversity and inclusion. She didn't say equity." It's not.
I know, that's
Are you
crazy too.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Okay.
And see, these are questions that it's fair to ask, that it should be fair for me to ask. And I would ask them, and like, CJ, let me ask you this. You were a chairman of the Dorchester County Republican Party. You have known me for years. We have been on the same side of some issues. We have been on the opposite side of some issues. We have been mortal enemies at certain moments in our life. Have you ever seen me have somebody on this show or in any capacity where I have them on and I am speaking to them and I am unfair or I attack them or ambush them? Have you ever seen anything like that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think even people that you've had issues with, like I brought up Nancy Nancy Mace.
Nancy Mace,
You
that's
you
right.
you spent years criticizing her, and then you still reached out when you had her on the show. I felt like you were a little bit too fair. I felt like you
Too fair.
Maybe you shrunk from the moment a little bit.
I don't know. It
I
truly
was
wasn't.
mad watching that one,
Well, that's what I mean, and that's okay though, because
screaming at my phone.
I'm teasing. by the way.
But I get that. But the item of the day is, I want to hear what this person has to say
Yeah.
at their best. We can critique and criticize it afterwards. I will.
She's not going to come on.
I'm
your
having
show.
You don't think
she's
so?
She's not gonna come on your show because now she's gonna move to general election mode, and you're in the bucket of this is a right wing independent media. So now she's less likely.
She needs those
She
votes.
would have been.
Yeah, now you're back
I'm
to being
with
the
you.
alt right.
I'm
Now
with
you're not
you.
grassroots. You're alt right now.
Did I say? Who said that? Did
No,
someone
that's
call
what
you?
he's saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, they say it to me all the time.
Oh, well, I mean, they say it to me too.
Well,
and
I'm also being called a rhino and a Democrat now because I
I
said,
get called
hey guys,
in the same day. I'll get called like a moderate rhino, and then I'll get called a Nazi demon.
Well, even more than any of that, what gets what I want, it's the money that has really just like made me go. This is how you know all the people, all the Mara Brockbanks of the world, all the hoity-toity donor class people who are backing her clearly have no idea. The people watching the show, I would love for you to look up move.org right now. It is a far leftist-leaning organization, and the former I'm talking like anti-Trump, call themselves an anti-Trump resistance movement. Their former director is now backing Darlene Graham.
Really?
Right? Yes.
Who is that?
I can't remember his name. I could look it up, but I don't. We have to.
Yeah, I mean, and there was
then-
the Democrat PAC.
Tom Matzzie, Matzzie, and then there's a billionaire from California named Chris Larson who has already said that he's going to do anything he can, quote, anything he can to get Gavin Newsom elected in 2028. He's funding her too.
Well, this is the clean energy. There was a little bit of a difference in, okay, I'm a liberal and I want the more liberal person. Ralph Norman was the one that got the clean energy subsidies cut out of the big beautiful bill, and so there was a bad faith characterization of his holding up Trump's agenda. Well, no, it was a huge omnibus bill. He cut out a lot of bullshit waste,
Right.
And so we should actually be thanking him. And so that donor that you just mentioned, I just pulled him up on.
Matzzie, yeah, now he's over solar.
Yeah, Clean Choice Energy. So that
His previous job was moved
Hold on.
forward.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is they put out press releases to say it was that Forward Tomorrow Innovation PAC or whatever.
Yeah.
We're going to play in these primaries because we're going to teach Ralph Norman a lesson. And anybody that opposes our agenda, we're going to spend $1 million to help you lose in the primary.
That's
Even
right.
though none of
And
their ads were about
especially-
clean energy, the clean energy industry was motivated to put his head on a stake.
That's correct. And those they had gone after many Freedom Caucus members.
That's right.
House Freedom.
Chip Roy was one of them.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Guys, we're gonna go to a break real quick. We gotta pay the bills and also support these people if you like these kind of conversations. When we get back, I'm going to read some of these comments. We've got some questions in the comments for you guys, and we're going to kind of we'll see where it goes, man. It's 7:30. We're here. We're live. We got all day, all night. Everything is going very well. Ask us questions during this break. Go ahead and put them in the comments if you have them, or make your comments. We'll try and read some of them. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. If you're planning a date night, don't settle for ordinary. Take it to another level at the Melting Pot. This is where dinner becomes interactive, where you dip into rich cheese fondues, cook your own steak and seafood right at the table, and finish with warm chocolate fondue and sweet dippers. Their signature 4-course experience takes you from savory to sweet in one unforgettable night. Perfect for couples, celebrations, or just reconnecting with old friends. The Melting Pot. Set the mood, slow things down, enjoy the moment. Find the Melting Pot at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard West in Columbia and make your next night out one worth remembering. The Cigar Militia is the place to be. Owned by South Carolina State Representative Jay Kilmartin, this isn't just a business, it's a passion. And you can feel that the second you walk through the door. Top-tier cigars, a welcoming atmosphere, even private lockers so your collection stays exactly how you like it. They even host regular gatherings that bring people together beyond just cigars. If you're looking for a place that values quality, conversation, and community, this is it. look no further. The Cigar Militia and Columbia SC. Light up something better.
Looking for a realtor who gets it done and actually answers her phone? Meet Christy Gore with Realty One Group Coastal. Christy is a Tri-County top producer. She works hard, keeps you informed, and knows the Charleston Tri-County markets inside and out. From Dorchester to Berkeley and everywhere in between, she's helping you buy and sell residential homes with confidence. When other agents let calls go to voicemail, Christy's picking up and already finding your next home. So don't wait. Call 843-998-8250 or go online to christiescoastalhomes.com, where local experience meets real results.
Adam Curran here with Curran Financial Partners. We are proud to sponsor Corey Allen and Palmetto Talk Live. I'm a God-fearing, flag-waving, conservative financial advisor, and my firm does it all, y'all. We can help you with your investments, we could do your taxes for you, and we can put together your estate planning documents for you. Reach out to my office by visiting our website. Go to retireyall.com. Again, retireyall.com, and get my book in the mail. We literally wrote the first and only book ever penned specifically about retiring in the great state of South Carolina. Retire Y'all, your guide to retiring in the state of South Carolina. Go to retireyall.com to get a free copy of my book and come kick my company's tires. It might have a profound impact on you and your family's finances.
Live and local talk from the mind behind the Overton Report. It's time for Palmetto Talk Live with your host, Corey Allen. Now, your host, Corey Allen.
All right, guys, we are back. And, of course, before we get back with Tyler Bessinger of the Carolina Courier and C.J. Westfall, Dorchester County Republican Party. Sorry, I forgot who's running for which party. It's
Fighting words.
I want to remind you guys about the Real Estate School of South Carolina, realestateschoolofsc.com. If you go there right now, you can become a real estate agent. If you've been thinking about it, look, the market is hot. They need talented real estate agents right now. You can go and get certified. If you want to become a property manager, if working at apartment complexes or helping somebody that you know who owns rental properties, being a property manager, you got to get certified. You can do that at realestateschoolofsc.com. You don't even have to live in South Carolina. They can certify you wherever you are in the country to be a real estate agent, a real estate broker, or a property manager. Go to realestateschoolofsc.com. They have 3 ways to learn. You can go in person in Lexington County and here in Charleston County at 2 of their convenient locations. You can also do online classes, going at your own pace, doing it as fast or as slow as you need to based on your work schedule. But you can also do virtual classes while they're holding them in person at those 2 convenient locations. You can do that if you'd like. That's a really cool one because you can actually speak to the professor as they're teaching. You can join in the discussions. You can ask your own questions in real time, live. realestateschoolofsc.com. Just go there and check it out. They wrote the literal book on real estate in South Carolina, and they are rewriting the book on selling real estate in South Carolina as we speak. We'll have Melissa Sprouse-Brown, the current owner and CEO of realestateschoolofsc.com, on our show again very soon. She is a friend of the show, a sponsor, and I'll tell you, a very good person, just like all of our sponsors are, actually. Adam Curran, Christy Gore, Jay Kilmartin, all of these people are amazing. We have a few more sponsors that we're going to be announcing in the next 2 weeks. Again, amazing people. Support them if you like conversations like this. All right, we are back. CJ Westfall.
I love Corey's corporate voice when he throws down on the sponsors. It's great.
Got to do
It's
it.
great. I love it.
I like that he can jump into it rather than having like a pre-recorded ad. You used to see
It's
people
code
like
switching.
Michael Knowles try to work into the ad, and it would just never go.
Yeah, but
And while we're
Corey's
talking about this, let me tell you about my VPN. No, shut up.
Corey's got a good code switch. Ben Shapiro's the worst about it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
can't watch
and then
him.
they're wearing like a totally different outfit and like sitting in a different place while they're doing it.
I would
Yeah.
rather watch a cat crawl across a chalkboard than listen to Ben Shapiro's voice.
Oh yeah, I know. It's bad.
It's bad.
you know what?
Aliens from Mars Attacks.
It's bad. It really is. Yeah, you're right. I really the thing is that my sponsors though it's different. I think than the Daily Wire guys. I know that if you have not seen Mars Attacks, that might have sounded like insane to you. Just go look up a clip of Mars Attacks
And then watch
aliens.
Ben Shapiro.
Well, and then listen to that. That was, I mean, it was like spot on. I was just literally the Mars aliens and Ben Shapiro.
That's right.
in
Love
one.
Child.
Very accurate.
Love Child. Interesting. But the thing is that I really like these sponsors. I have cigars from the Cigar Militia. I've gone to the Melting Pot multiple times. I love
I
it.
know you've been promising me a Mayflower for a year.
Well, that was me. I smoked it.
I know you did.
But yeah, the Mayflowers are great. That's Michael Knowles' cigar. They carry those all the time. They've got them all the time now, which is great. But Current Financial Partners, I mean, that's somebody who initially believed in me. And also, his ETF was just bought by the Trump, a Trump-owned business. But his ETF, which is an anti-woke ETF, it's y'all.
He just sold y'all?
He's in the process of it.
Selling now.
No, but he will still be in control of it. Like it's trust me, it's a thing. He was on the show talking about it, and I don't want to do too much because the SEC gets involved and all that. But anti-woke, like if you're Coca-Cola and you're like be less white, he's not going to invest in that. So that means that your money, if you invest in his ETF and Adam Curran's ETF, that you're not going to be investing in companies that hate and despise you. You know what I mean? So it's, I love all these people. Christy Gore, of course. I mean, just salt of the earth. Realestateschoolofsc.com, salt of the earth. I love these people and believe in them. So it's very easy for me to push people to do business with them. We have to create our own economy. But anyway, let's get back to.
You said there was a question.
There was a question. So somebody asked of you, Tyler. They said you were speaking right before the break. You said that.
Oh, you asked me what Darlene Graham
what could she do? Is there nothing she could do?
And I said she could what? She could legalize weed, or she could take a position on legalizing weed,
Ending the
enforcing
war?
the deportations, ending the war, and taking a more firm stance on abortion.
Right, that's right. And so one of the questions was, but did Ralph make those stands? Didn't Tyler vote for him? So I'd like to give you an opportunity to kind of respond to that, because I think Ralph has made a stand in that when it comes to the Iran situation.
He has, and abortion.
And abortion, we all know, yes. But
So, yeah, Ralph Norman, well, first of all, he was not my first choice. I'll be fair about that. I probably should have been, knowing what I know now about my first choice. But Ralph Norman, the question was, what could Darlene Graham do to sell me, who's in the red 100% right now with me? So I listed a few things that she could do, but did Norman take those same stance? Well, 50% of them, yes, he did. But Norman had already convinced me on like 100 other things. So I agree with Ralph Norman on the fundamentals. That's why I put so much more value on the title conservative than I do Republican, because the two are not synonymous. And I feel like Ralph Norman, expressed those values of conservatism, whereas all I know about Darlene Graham is she's a Republican related to Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, and Ralph did in the debates say, hey, I support President Trump taking out the nuclear facilities, but it's time to wrap this thing up, in his
He sure
words.
did.
He
sure did.
So maybe she does, because Lindsey, closer to the primary, as this war was really polling badly, they were really trying to get out of it with the MOU that all fell apart. It was signed, completely fell apart. And even people like Ben Shapiro, we mentioned earlier, and Mark Levin were attacking the president for even trying to get out of the war.
That's right.
If you remember Lindsey Graham, I saw him in Somerville 2 weeks before the election when he was running against Mark Lynch, and he only got 56% of the vote. Think about that, against Mark Lynch.
not just against Mark Lynch.
Well, sure.
Yes,
But
against others.
But that is not nothing. He was saying at the end, Yeah, I think we should really. There was a noticeable change right at the end where, like a month before the election, it was let's go take Carg Island. We're gonna go put boots on the ground.
Right.
And then in Somerville 2 weeks before, he's like, yeah, maybe we don't need boots on the ground. Maybe we should wrap this thing up. President Trump's gonna wrap it up. There's a deal coming. So maybe we see that as the polls tighten a little bit. Like she takes some good positions. The marijuana thing, I don't think probably will happen.
That's a pipe dream.
That's
a pipe
a pipe dream. What was the other thing you said? Abortion.
Abortion.
What do you want to see from her on abortion? I mean, at the federal level, like it's. I mean, what would you?
I want to know that. Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious.
So we understand states' rights issue right now because of the Supreme Court ruling and Dodd and all that. But what we want to, I think that what we want to do, what we want to know, what we want to see, many of us who are for abolition, we want to know that the person that we are supporting will stand firm against abortion.
Yeah.
Even if they're not, because they might not today be able or be in a position to do something about it. But again, one of the 100 most powerful people on the planet in history.
Their voice carries
Their
weight.
voice
Yep.
carries weight. Their voice holds weight in the state. Their voice, they can use that in the state for the to convince people in the state legislature.
So what if she said? What if Darlene Graham? And this is my question: could you vote for her if she said, "All you liberal women, your body, my choice"? Would you have?
No, come on.
No,
That's
because
bullshit.
she doesn't mean it.
Oh, it's a joke. Oh my god.
I know, but it's well, it was flat. It was flat. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be like that, but no, like if she were to
so
honestly,
Do you guys remember where that came from?
yeah,
said that? Okay.
Fuentes.
Oh, that's right.
Your body, my choice. Yeah. But see that yes, when she was asked about it, she honestly didn't know. It was very similar, and this is in that same guerrilla interview where the person's her staffer said nothing too difficult here, guys. That
I think that was actually
right in the same.
a news reporter that said that though. I think that was a news reporter like, hey, he's miking him up saying, nothing too difficult here. Don't worry about it.
No,
I don't think that
the
was a
person's
handler.
been named.
Well, the communications director said, hey, there was this named person from this media outlet.
So you think that the media said
Yeah.
on a hot mic?
Yeah.
Let's not
This is
ask
the-
the Republican anything too hard.
I'm not defending it.
I'm not. I know you're not. I'm not saying you're defending it, but I'm saying that's what you're saying happened.
That's what I'm saying.
I will definitely look into that because
So,
okay.
her communications director said this was this person.
Who is that?
From this.
person.
I'll have to look that up.
I will give you her name.
Abby Zilch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss fucking
Oh, come on.
I don't.
phantom floating over her shoulder.
I don't have anything to do with this. This is him saying this, not me.
That's
It's
right.
me saying it. Abby Zilch looks like the damn Grim Reaper floating over her shoulder every time Darlene appears anywhere.
I'm not saying that. That's Tyler. That's
And you
not
can
me.
tell the look on her face when they ask the question. If it's a nice question, oh, we love you. She's like, ask the question, what do you think about abortion?
I have seen her cut her eyes.
Yes.
But I will say this. Abby has never been anything but kind to me, and she has helped me get into events to
Sure,
film.
there's
and
lots
do
of
things
polite
like that.
people in hell, too.
Well, no. What I mean is that she's been actually helpful. But yes, you see, this is the problem. This is what happens in primaries. We get turned against each other so hard, and people start seeing former friends as enemies, and a lot of that has happened in this primary especially. And we need to there's a group of people that say we need to come together no matter what, and then there's another group of people that say we would like to come together. We need some assurances.
Just meet us halfway.
And then
meet
there's
us halfway.
And then there's another group that says, who the hell is this us?
Well, that's
Because
correct.
there was no us a few months ago. Now you need a vote. Now there's a us all of a sudden.
Well, that's an interesting point, and I think that also that's a point for kind of another day, because that is a whole nother question. That is the side that you're here representing. Truly is like, this is a very, very hard thing for her to get those votes, those people's votes, and there are people who are kind of like who would like to support her, but need a reason.
Right.
And I think that
Well, I think
there
there
a
are
lot of
people that are
like
voting with principle, people that consider themselves a conservative or even a Christian or a believer, whatever kind, that's their foremost thing before it's any kind of a political party. And you hope that the political party, that you can attach to that and kind of go along with that. But Not necessarily. I lost my train of thought. You
I know.
barbarian.
On purpose.
I
That's
hate
that.
you.
That's
Barbarian.
that's a
Chairman,
Hassan
that's a
Piker
filibuster,
tactic.
Yeah. I hate you.
Hassan
Fucking
Piker
politicians.
tactic. Oh my gosh. No, but I think you're right. Like there are a group of people that it would be almost impossible. But do you then do you even spend time trying to convince those people?
You do. And I think that what I've learned from this conversation today is that there's a lot of work to do from her team, whether they want to do it or not. It remains to be seen. But there are good faith people like myself that do want the party to come together, because I don't want to see Charleston County Council turn blue again. We worked really hard, and a lot of folks worked really hard, knocking on doors, writing postcards, making phone calls. I think that we don't want to lose ICE funding. I think that we don't want to lose the Senate. I think we can also agree that we're not super stoked with how the second term's gone with President Trump, but I think that we want to see her earn it, and we want to see her come out, her supporters. We want them to tone it down. The example that Alan Wilson gave is exactly what they need to follow to bring us together. We want to see some policy assurances. We want to see maybe some stronger rhetoric to bring in the Norman supporters. So going forward, I think that's kind of what we all need to refocus our efforts on. We can complain about how this primary went for probably another 2 hours.
Well,
I would agree.
Yeah, but I would also
think
say
how
I'm
are
not
we gonna move?
complaining about the primary.
I know, but in complaining about our candidacy and how it went and the issue positions and the instances, but like, where do we go? Like, we have an election November 3rd, and it's less than 90 days away. It's like 68 days away. And so here's where I'm at. It's like, where do we go forward? Are you guys going to use your leverage to get those policy assurances while she's still on the ballot? That's, I think, is a valuable use of your time. Like, that's why let's not bash Abby Zilch. Let's have, if Darlene won't come, say Abby Zilch, you come on the show, and let me at least pick your brain, right? Like, I think that while her back is still against the wall, while she needs our vote,
let people into a restaurant. You think she's going to come sit down and have a conversation with you?
She might. Maybe not with your approach.
But I would love to.
What you want? She wants to sit down and talk to people that already subscribed. Yes.
No. She might come here. She might come here. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, continue having a good, don't fully black pill on this. Continue to have a good faith, because you guys have good faith arguments that you're making. Don't let their nastiness make you guys nasty. Just because they're being shitty to people that were now Ralph Norman supporters doesn't mean we should be shitty. What we should do is strive to set the example as principled conservatives and say, hey, we want policy assurances. We're not sure. We want to try to get there, but we're unsure. And the libertarians are out there. The constitutional party's out there. They're trying to earn my vote. You got to come in and try to earn my vote. And that's a valid argument you guys should keep making. And that's what I'm going to try to do. And from my position is to try to bring those folks together.
Well, if past his prologue, I have zero confidence that she's going to try to earn anybody's vote.
Well, before
maybe
before
not.
we open that up, I mean, I do want to say, like, obviously, we're on two different. You say you guys. We Tyler, you and I, we disagree on different things. We have
a lot of things.
I think we've illustrated the differences that we have even in this situation. So I don't think it's let's not monolith the thing here, but I think that there are legitimate questions that should be asked, deserve to be asked, and deserve some answers. And again, guys, here I am. This is an open invitation to Darlene to come sit in the same seat that C.J. Westfall, Dorchester County Republican Party chairman, is sitting in now, has sat in multiple times, elected officials from all over the state.
Didn't Alan Wilson come in here?
Alan Wilson,
Yeah.
Pamela Evett, Mike Rickenbach.
Yep. Jenny Honeycutt.
Jenny Honeycutt.
Yep.
I mean, everybody.
She should do it. And just put out an open call. It's like, Darlene, we've had our differences. I supported Ralph. Come on and let's have the conversation. Earn my vote. I'm open-minded. Let's have a good faith conversation.
You know what?
I think it should happen.
That might. If she came on this show and you didn't completely bitch out.
Like you did with Nancy Mace.
Like you did with Nancy Mace.
I didn't do that with Nancy Mace.
If she were to come on this show and you don't bitch out, I would consider voting for her. If she were to have the tranny balls that Annie wishes she had and come on this show.
You heard it here first, folks. Annie Andrews, she's been cutting off kids' balls because she needs some of her own. That's a reason not to vote for her.
Listen, Annie Andrews just so bad that we have to make the effort.
I think
that
so
plays
bad.
a massive role in why I want to have the conversation, ask Darlene the questions, and try to find reasons to support her and find reasons to tell, because I have followers. I can't just I'm never going to lead them off in a direction just because a party says so.
Agreed.
I
You shouldn't.
have to believe it. I will never tell you, any of you, to do something that I truly don't believe, and I am just not there. And I'm not the
willing to do
asshole.
myself.
And I'm not the asshole for having questions and wanting to know, because
A lot of your followers do. A lot of your followers do.
Right,
Yeah.
and I'm not some retard low info voter. I'm not that person, and I don't expect you guys to be that person. You trust me. Many of you put trust in me. I need to know, and I would love to have that conversation. And I've always done it in good faith. So
I think the biggest gap Darlene's campaign is going to need to, and I don't speak for everybody that even holds my position, but speaking for me, this whole thing has come off as such the ascension of the noble house of Graham. So elitist, so noble, so monarchical, and the rest of us peasants, especially those who voted for Ralph Norman, we don't just peasants.
Just suck it up.
So if you would just come and maybe you genuflect to the people the way it's supposed to be in a republic versus us genuflecting to you.
I think
that would
there
be
is-
nice.
Yeah,
Politicians
nice.
work for us and not the other way around.
I think that there is a taste of that from a lot of people. I guess let me give you guys closing statements on this. I mean, this obviously isn't a debate; it's a discussion.
Did you guys really make me consider voting for Jesus Christ?
No, no, nobody's doing.
Are you
that.
admitting that we made you consider voting for Darlene?
No, consider giving her an opportunity,
giving her the chance to come in here and
prove
show us
herself.
It sounds like
show us her tranny balls.
it sounds like I got there tonight. It sounds like I got there tonight.
That's what needs to happen, is that she needs to be able to prove to an election changing minority
Yeah.
that she
To a
will
lot of
be
people
there
who feel
for
stabbed in
them.
the back by this.
To a lot of people, and who have been treated ever since. I mean, those 3 days after the primary are very important days. The way that you're treated after that, it's going to have a lingering effect. So those out there who were like, do it or else, shut up, fall in line, that's never going to help you. It's never going to convince anyone. It's never going to convince anyone. So yes, I think that I want to give her the opportunity to show herself, and that's what an election is for. I don't want the assumption that you should just do it or else, and I think that I'm not alone in that, and I understand. That's the thing. I'm just trying to be a voice for those people who have very serious and legitimate concerns because they don't know. Okay, there's definitely a portion of people who will never do it no matter what. They'll never vote no matter what for her, no matter what. That's not me. That's not where I'm at. And I want an opportunity to show you who she is.
I'll
Closing statements, Tyler.
I will use my closing statement to apologize to Abby Zilch.
There we go.
But sometimes when you stand behind a clown, you will catch a pie. So I apologize.
All right. Well, can I jump in on something?
Please.
So we have had instances where the Republican Party has not come together, and we have had instances where we've lost the Senate majority because Republicans voted third party. And one instance was in 2020, if you remember John Ossoff versus David Perdue, the Libertarian Shane Hazel got 115,000 votes, which made up 2.3%, which meant neither top candidate got 50%, so they went to a runoff. And then that was the first time in decades that Georgia had, and I have it right here, elected a statewide Democrat office holder, John Ossoff, and then later on Raphael Warnock. And we haven't been able to flip. We haven't been able to flip those seats back yet.
That's right.
And so we're in a similar situation now in the South, where there are 165,000 Ralph Norman voters who are disaffected, and the choice lies with Darlene's campaign. Are we going to say, Nana, Nana, Boo Boo, we won, and just force it down your throats? Or are we going to say, hey, this is a big Republican family. We're going to fight at the dinner table. We're going to fight at Thanksgiving, but we're going to come together because the left has gone crazy. They're far left socialists. We literally had to shut down her gender-affirming care clinic in 2022 because kids from 3 to 13 were getting hormone. That's where we're at right now.
And being sent
so,
off to double
So
mastectomy.
here's the deal. I agree that she didn't run a great campaign. I agree that she wasn't qualified. I was there. I'm on record. You can Google my name, Washington Post, New York Times, CNN. I'm there.
That's right.
I can have that opinion, but then I can also have the opinion of there's still some meat on the bone with this presidency. We just had 3 months in a row of our highest deportation numbers. Is it mass deportations like what I'd want to see? No, but we're trending up in the right direction. Hopefully this war gets wrapped up soon. I would rather have a Republican in that seat who's going to support President Trump's agenda than this far left socialist. So don't fall for the third party trap. It is a trap. This is somebody who you used to call me a losertarian for being the Libertarian Party. Don't fall for it, because then we'll end up like Georgia and we'll never get rid of these damn Democrats in these Senate elections. So I appreciate the conversation today, boys.
So again, and I will be having the Libertarian candidate Casey Whitener back on.
She's
the
a
show.
left-wing libertarian, by the way. She's not even a right-wing. So I interrupted
that's
you.
an important difference.
I interrupted you on that. I apologize. But in the Libertarian Party, there's the Mises Caucus, like
Yep.
your Dave Smith, like people that are like
Hillary side.
like people like Rand Paul would be like a
Right.
Mises Caucus
Right.
libertarian. That's somebody that we'd probably all. This is a left-wing libertarian. This is somebody that I saw when I used to be in that party. They were focusing on social issues. She might try to disguise now, but she's got the different colored hair. She. College professor. This is not a conservatarian. This is a liberal libertarian. This is not a Republican. This is not a conservative.
Okay, so
If that's true, that changes my calculus at least.
I
Ask
haven't.
her.
I
Ask
haven't-
her that question.
That's right. I haven't. Our first interview,
That
I
explains some things I've heard from the Libertarian Party as well.
yeah. So I will have her on. I will try to have the Constitutional Party member on. I'll try to have Andy Andrews on as well. I doubt it. Also, there's a little bit of a fear of her and her people knowing where I do my show, to be honest with you.
We're getting too close to your genitals, probably.
I will say no scissors allowed.
No sharp objects.
No sharp
metal
objects.
detector.
Yeah. But I would truly I would be honored, and I would love to have Darlene on and actually have a real discussion live. No, Abby can sit here. Any of her staffers can sit here. It's fine. I mean, the goal is to get people to know who you are. Okay, not some caricature, not some perfectly carved out marble statue of what you want to present yourself as, but just who you are. That's what I want. But that's what I do here. That's what I try to do here at Palmetto Talk Live, guys. Tyler Bessinger, the Carolina Courier. Go to thecarolinacourier.substack.com. We'll also we'll tag the Carolina Courier's Facebook page in the comments and in the description of this video. Also, you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, right? You're on all
Twitter,
these.
Twitter, Facebook, and Substack, pretty much.
So okay, well, let's put all those in the we'll
great
put those in
follow.
the comments, and then of course CJ Westfall, the chairman of the Dorchester County Republican Party. You can just look him up, CJ Westfall on Facebook, CJ Westfall DCRP chairman on Facebook as well, and your X account is
At CJ Westfall.
at CJ Westfall. Hopefully we don't see the Westfall in the near future. But
We're leaning.
anyway, I'm
was good.
I'm good with puns, man.
That was good.
Um,
I liked when a certain person called me instead of CJ Westfall, CJ Willfall. You know what I'm talking about? We
no.
won't say his name, but
I don't remember that.
we won't speak his name.
I remember
People call you names all the time.
He's autistic.
They call me names all the time. Who?
Don't say. We're not
Fine,
going.
we won't
Okay,
talk
hold
about
on.
He's
3 seconds. Wait.
We're not going to mention him on.
That's
the show.
right.
Yeah.
Summon him up from the nether region.
That's fine. We're ready to go. But before we do go, I just want to remind you guys, Carlton Walker is trash. I just want to remind you all of that. Be wary of him. Thankfully, he lost his primary, and we have a good man, Johnny Garman, who's going to win that. As long as we get some good down ballot voting, guys. My name's Corey Allen. I appreciate you tuning in to Palmetto Talk Live. We'll catch you tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. Well, I'm going to call some people. We'll try and get some elected officials, at least on the phone or something for tomorrow. But it'll be a good show, and I will do everything I can. Tag Darlene in the comments here. Send her messages. Ask her to come on the show. I'm not gonna be a jerk. I don't want a woman who's literally willing to take scissors to your 3-year-old kid's genitals in Senate. I truly don't. So we're running out of options. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you.